What's up, guys? Today I'm going to tell you about the dark side of Harvard. I've been here long enough to know what's up, and I'm going to tell you all the ugly truths about this place that I've learned over the past 3 years that nobody else will tell you. And let me just say, there's some dirty stuff going on. So let's jump right into it. Alright. Dark problem number one is that Harvard is a false meritocracy. When I first came here, I thought everybody got in because they were smart or worked hard, but that's not the case. A lot of people bought their way in. And when I say that, I don't mean they literally bribed admissions officers. I mean they use money to gain an admissions advantage that other students just don't have. The most common way people do this is called the feeder system, which is high schools that cost 50, 60, 70K a year that basically just pipeline kids here. Going to one of these schools just gives you better opportunities. Like at my high school, the guidance counselor was just a regular dude, and a lot of the teachers were parents and coaches who didn't really know the stuff that well. Compare that to these expensive schools, where kids are literally being taught by Harvard graduates. It's just a huge leg up. I would guess like every other person I meet comes out of one of these schools. But the crazy thing is that's not even where the real money is. The real ballers, they don't need the feeder system. They have a much more devious way of getting in, which is underground admissions consultants. These people pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to private consultants who will literally script their whole life. They'll say what to write their essay about, get them internships, literally everything to turn the admissions process into a free throw. Nobody will admit going to one of these people, but I hear rumors all the time. Now, problem number two is kind of related to problem number one. Problem number two is that everything at Harvard is way more exclusive than it has to be. Everybody's wealthy here. Everybody goes to Harvard, so people need to create a new way to distinguish themselves as elite, and the way they do that is through student orgs. If you've ever seen an anime where the leader of the student council is super powerful, it's kind of like that. But yeah, all the biggest student orgs, the Lit Mag, the Satire Mag, the Theater Club, they've all been around since like the 1700s and are stupid hard to get into. A lot of them have their own legacies, a lot of them have their own buildings and endowments, and of course, these exclusive clubs can't advertise at the club fair because that's for peasants, so you gotta be in the know to even apply. In my experience, I wanted to join a Lit Mag in my freshman year, and I didn't even know we had one until I was a sophomore. And then when I applied to join, there were 50 other applicants, and they sat us down in a room and said, we're only taking 5 of you. So for a whole semester, I did work for this club. It was like a full-time job. It took multiple hours a week. There were multiple rounds of cuts like the freaking tune-in exams. And then I made it to the final round, and then I got cut. And that's just the way it goes here. It's brutal. Now, the party scene kind of works in the same way. Instead of frats or bars or house parties, we have these things called finals clubs, which are basically like ultra-rich frats that have been around since the dawn of time. If you've ever seen the movie The Social Network, it does a really good job at depicting them. But it's not like anybody can join these. There's no open rush. You gotta get punched, which is where they slide a letter under your door at midnight and tell you you're one of the chosen ones who can even try to join. And after that, it's just a bunch of BS with cuts and stuff like that. But you know, you gotta be a real baller to get into one of those. I actually got punched by one, and I went to the first round of cuts, and I felt like I was in the wrong zip code. It was the kind of thing where you gotta either be rich or entertain the rich. I hated it. Now, as I said, everybody here is obsessed with status, which causes problem number 3, the rat race. A lot of these people, they're vampires, bro. They don't have souls. They would burn down an orphanage and then draw satanic symbols in the ground if it meant they would become the next big hedge fund manager, or have a successful AI startup, or get into Congress. Talk to these people and there's no light in their eyes. They're just looking at you thinking, how can I climb you? How can I use you? Over time, it'll wear you down, bro. It'll really drain your soul. To some people, it might sound cool and Sigma, but it's not, trust me. If you engage with these people long enough, you either become one of them or you want to dirk your schmirk. Now, obviously, Harvard isn't all doom and gloom. Now that I know how to navigate it and I've been here 3 years, I actually really like it here. I have a lot of good friends and my classes are really interesting. But it's a unique place. There are some dark sides for sure, and you gotta learn your way around if you're gonna survive. That's it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to drop a like and subscribe.